My name is Emily Reed, and I've always been fascinated by the unexplained. As a paranormal investigator, I've encountered my fair share of strange phenomena. But nothing could have prepared me for the night I came face to face with the Dover demon. It was a crisp autumn evening when I received a call from my colleague, Dr. Thomas Hayes, a local historian with a keen interest in folklore and urban legends. He had stumbled upon reports of bizarre sightings in the small town of Dover, Massachusetts, that seemed to defy rational explanation. The Dover demon, as it came to be known, was described as a humanoid creature with glowing eyes, pale skin, and a slender, elongated frame. Witnesses claimed to have seen it lurking in the woods and darting across darkened streets, always just out of reach. The reports were eerie and unsettling, and they piqued my curiosity. Thomas and I decided to investigate the sightings ourselves, armed with cameras, audio recorders, and an open mind. We arrived in Dover under the cover of night, the air thick with anticipation and a hint of unease. The town was quiet, its streets bathed in the soft glow of streetlights. Our first stop was a local diner where we met with townsfolk who had witnessed the creature firsthand. Their accounts were chillingly similar: a sense of dread, the feeling of being watched, and fleeting glimpses of a figure that defied logic and reason. One witness, an elderly woman named Mrs. Johnson, recounted an encounter she had while walking her dog near the edge of town. "I saw it clear as day," she said, her voice trembling. "It had these big, glowing eyes and skin like nothing I've ever seen. It didn't seem afraid of me, just curious." Armed with these first-hand testimonies, Thomas and I ventured into the surrounding woods, following the paths where the Dover demon had reportedly been seen. The forest was dense and eerily quiet, the only sound our footsteps crunching on fallen leaves. As we walked deeper into the woods, a chill ran down my spine. The atmosphere was charged with a sense of foreboding, as if we were trespassing on sacred ground. We set up our equipment: a night vision camera, an EMF meter, and a digital recorder, and waited in silence, hoping to capture evidence of the elusive creature. Hours passed with nothing but the rustling of leaves and distant hoots of owls. Just as we were about to call it a night, the air around us grew cold, and a strange sensation washed over me. I felt as if we were being watched, studied by unseen eyes. Then, in the beam of our flashlight, I saw a figure standing among the trees. It was humanoid in shape, with pale, almost translucent skin, and eyes that seemed to emit a faint glow. Its limbs were long and thin, its posture unnaturally stooped. I raised my camera and began taking photos, capturing the creature's eerie silhouette against the backdrop of the forest. Thomas recorded audio, hoping to capture any sounds or vocalizations. The Dover demon watched us with an unsettling calmness, its eyes never leaving our gaze. It made no move to approach us, but its presence alone was enough to send shivers down my spine. After what felt like an eternity, the creature turned and disappeared into the shadows, leaving us with more questions than answers. We reviewed the evidence we had collected: photos, audio recordings, and eyewitness accounts, but the mystery of the Dover demon remained unsolved. As we packed up our equipment and prepared to leave Dover, I couldn't shake the feeling that we had witnessed something truly extraordinary. The Dover demon was real, a living enigma that defied categorization and challenged our understanding of the natural world. I knew that our investigation was far from over. The Dover demon had left its mark on me, igniting a curiosity and determination to uncover the truth behind its existence. As a paranormal investigator, it was my duty to seek out the unknown, to shine a light on the shadows where mysteries lurked. And so, as we drove away from Dover under the light of the moon, I made a silent promise to return. The Dover demon may have eluded us that night, but I was determined to uncover its secrets and unravel the truth behind its mysterious presence in the quiet town of Dover, Massachusetts. My name is Sarah Monroe, and I never believed in monsters until I encountered the beast of Bray Road. I was a journalist for a small-town newspaper in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, known for its picturesque landscapes and tight-knit community. The summer of 2023 started like any other, with local stories of community events and town meetings filling the pages of the Elkhorn Gazette. That all changed when reports began to surface of a mysterious creature prowling the rural roads outside of town. The Beast of Bray Road, as it came to be known, was said to be a large, wolf-like creature with glowing eyes and a menacing growl. Witnesses described it as standing on its hind legs, with fur as dark as midnight and claws that could tear through steel. The sightings were dismissed as urban legends by most, but I couldn't ignore the growing number of credible witnesses and the fear in their voices. Determined to uncover the truth, I set out to investigate the reports myself. Armed with a notepad, a camera, and a healthy dose of skepticism, I drove out to Bray Road on a moonlit night, the air thick with anticipation and a touch of fear. The road was deserted, flanked by cornfields that rustled softly in the breeze. I parked my car near a wooded area where the creature had reportedly been seen and waited, my senses on high alert. Hours passed with nothing but the occasional hoot of an owl and the distant hum of crickets. Just as I was beginning to question my decision to come alone, I heard a low, guttural growl that sent a shiver down my spine. I turned towards the sound and saw movement among the trees, a shadowy figure emerging from the darkness. The Beast of Bray Road stood before me, larger and more imposing than I could have imagined. Its fur bristled in the moonlight, its eyes gleaming with an otherworldly intensity. Fear gripped me, but so did curiosity. I raised my camera and began to take photos, capturing the creature's form as it prowled along the edge of the woods. The beast moved with a predatory grace, its movements fluid and silent. I watched in awe and terror as it sniffed the air, its senses keen and alert. It seemed aware of my presence, but made no move to approach me, instead disappearing back into the shadows from whence it came. I reviewed the photos I had taken, one a testament to the reality of the creature that had haunted the imaginations of local residents for decades. The Beast of Bray Road was real, and I had seen it with my own eyes. As I drove back to town that night, my mind raced with questions. What was the beast? Where had it come from? And why had it chosen Bray Road as its hunting ground? The answers eluded me, but one thing was clear: the story of the Beast of Bray Road was far from over. Over the following weeks, I interviewed more witnesses and gathered evidence to support my findings. The local community was divided. Some believed in the creature's existence, while others remained skeptical. But for those who had encountered the beast firsthand, there was no doubt in their minds. The legend of the Beast of Bray Road had become a part of Elkhorn's history, a tale passed down through generations. It was a reminder that there are mysteries in this world that defy explanation, and that sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. As for me, the encounter with the beast had changed me. I had witnessed something extraordinary, something that challenged my beliefs and sparked a newfound sense of wonder. As a journalist, I had a responsibility to seek out the truth, no matter how unsettling or unbelievable it may be. And so, as I continued to investigate the mysteries of Elkhorn and beyond, I knew that the story of the Beast of Bray Road would stay with me, a reminder of the power of the unknown and the courage it takes to confront it. My name is Jake Thompson, and I've always been drawn to the mysteries of the natural world. As a wildlife photographer, I've traveled to remote corners of the globe in search of elusive creatures and untamed landscapes. But nothing could have prepared me for my encounter with the lizard man of Scape or Swamp. It was a humid summer evening in South Carolina when I received a tip from a local fisherman about strange sightings near the swamp. Reports had been circulating for years about a creature known as the lizard man, a humanoid reptilian figure, said to inhabit the dense marshlands of Lee County. Most dismissed the stories as folklore, but the recent uptick in sightings had piqued my curiosity. Armed with my camera and a sense of adventure, I set out to investigate. The swamp was a labyrinth of cypress trees and murky waters, alive with the hum of insects and the occasional splash of unseen wildlife. I navigated carefully, mindful of the treacherous terrain and the stories that lurked in the shadows. As dusk settled over the swamp, I found a secluded spot to set up camp. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying vegetation, a stark contrast to the stillness that enveloped me. I waited patiently, my camera poised and ready, hoping to catch a glimpse of the elusive lizard man. Hours passed with nothing but the chorus of nocturnal creatures and the distant hoot of an owl. Just as I began to doubt the validity of the sightings, I heard a rustling in the underbrush, a sound that sent a chill down my spine. I turned towards the noise and saw movement among the trees, a figure emerging from the shadows. The lizard man stood before me, a towering figure with scaly skin and piercing eyes that glowed in the moonlight. Its form was humanoid, yet distinctly reptilian, with long claws and a muscular build that spoke of strength and agility. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was the creature from the legends, standing just a few feet away. Heart racing, I raised my camera and began to take photos, capturing the creature's majestic and eerie presence against the backdrop of the swamp. The lizard men seemed aware of my presence, but made no move to approach me, instead observing me with a mixture of curiosity and caution. I watched in awe as the creature moved gracefully through the swamp, its movements fluid and precise. It seemed at home in its environment, blending seamlessly with the dense foliage and murky waters. I continued to photograph and document the encounter, my mind racing with questions about the creature's origins and behavior. After what felt like an eternity, the lizard men disappeared back into the depths of the swamp, leaving me with a sense of wonder and disbelief. I reviewed the photos I had taken, one a testament to the reality of the creature that had captured the imagination of locals for decades. As I packed up my gear and prepared to leave scape or swamp, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had witnessed something extraordinary. The lizard man was real, a living testament to the mysteries of the natural world and the resilience of folklore in the face of skepticism. In the weeks that followed, I shared my findings with the scientific community and local authorities, sparking renewed interest in the legends of the lizard man. While skeptics continued to question the validity of the sightings, those who had encountered the creature firsthand knew the truth. For me, the encounter had been a once-in-a-lifetime experientia, reminder of the power of nature and the allure of the unknown. As a wildlife photographer, I had captured breathtaking images of creatures great and small, but none had left as profound an impression as the lizard man of scape or swamp. And so, as I continued my journey through the natural world, I carried with me the memory of the lizard mana, reminder that there are still secrets waiting to be uncovered and stories waiting to be told. My name is Alex Reynolds, and I'm an urban explorer with a passion for uncovering hidden mysteries. One such mystery took me deep into the heart of Ohio, where I encountered the enigmatic creature known as the Loveland Frogman. It was a chilly autumn night when I received a tip from a fellow explorer about strange sightings near the Little Miami River. Reports had been circulating for years about a humanoid amphibious creature lurking in the shadows, a creature with webbed hands, bulging eyes, and a penchant for evading capture. Most dismissed the stories as urban legend, but the recent surge in sightings had piqued my interest. Armed with my camera and a sense of adventure, I set out to investigate. The night was silent and still as I made my way through the dense underbrush along the riverbank. The moon cast an eerie glow over the landscape, casting long shadows that seemed to dance in the moonlight. As I approached a secluded stretch of the river, I noticed movement among the rocks. A figure crouched low near the water's edge. My heart raced as I realized I was face to face with the Loveland Frogman. The creature stood upright, its skin glistening with moisture and its eyes reflecting the faint light. It had a humanoid form, but with distinctly amphibious features, webbed fingers and toes, mottled skin, and a muscular build that hinted at its strength and agility. I hesitated, unsure of how to proceed. The Loveland Frogman watched me with a mixture of curiosity and wariness, its eyes never leaving mine. I slowly raised my camera, hoping to capture proof of the creature's existence. For several minutes, we remained locked in a silent standoff. The air was thick with tension, the only sound the gentle lapping of the river against the shore. I snapped several photos, each one a testament to the surreal encounter unfolding before me. Just as I began to lower my camera, the Loveland Frogman emitted a low, guttural croak sound that sent a chill down my spine. It turned and disappeared into the darkness, leaving me with a sense of awe and disbelief. I reviewed the photos I had taken, each one a blurry yet haunting image of the creature that had eluded capture for so long. The Loveland Frogman was real, a living enigma that defied explanation and challenged my understanding of the natural world. As I made my way back to civilization, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had witnessed something extraordinary. The encounter had ignited a fire within me, determination to uncover the truth behind the legends and myths that captured the imagination of so many. In the days that followed, I shared my findings with fellow explorers and researchers, sparking renewed interest in the mystery of the Loveland Frogman. While skeptics continued to question the validity of the sightings, those who had encountered the creature firsthand knew the truth. For me, the encounter had been a life-changing experientia, reminder of the mysteries that lie hidden in the shadows and the thrill of exploring the unknown. As an urban explorer, I had ventured into abandoned buildings and forgotten tunnels, but none had left as lasting an impression as the night I came face to face with the Loveland Frogman. And so, as I continued my journey through the world of urban exploration, I carried with me the memory of that fateful night, a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary discoveries are found in the places least expected. My name is Dr. Claire Peterson, and I am an anthropologist specializing in cryptozoology. My work has taken me to some of the most remote corners of the globe, but none more intriguing than the dense rainforests of Sumatra, where I hope to uncover the truth behind the legend of the orang pendek. The orang pendek, or short person, said to be a small, bipedal primate with human-like features, inhabiting the unexplored depths of Sumatra's rainforests. The local tribes spoke of the creature with a mix of reverence and fear, describing it as elusive and intelligent, yet fiercely protective of its territory. I arrived in Sumatra during the peak of the rainy season, the air thick with humidity and the scent of earth and vegetation. My guide, a local named Ramon, led me into the forest, his machete cutting a path through the dense underbrush. Ramon had grown up hearing stories of the orang pendek and was eager to help me in my quest to find evidence of its existence. Our journey began at the edge of Kerinci Seblat National Park, a vast and largely uncharted expanse of rainforest. We set up a base camp near the park's perimeter and spent the first few days familiarizing ourselves with the area, noting the sounds and movements of the jungle's inhabitants. On the fourth day, as we trekked deeper into the forest, we stumbled upon a series of footprints, small, human-like, and unlike any animal tracks I had ever seen. My excitement grew as I photographed and documented the prints, convinced that we were on the trail of the orang pendek. As the days passed, we encountered more signs of the elusive creaturican branches, disturbed foliage, and the occasional glimpse of a shadowy figure darting through the trees. Ramon and I followed these clues with a mix of determination and caution, aware that we were venturing into the heart of the orang pendek's territory. One evening, as we set up camp near a small stream, Ramon pointed out a cluster of fruit trees with fresh, half-eaten fruit scattered on the ground. Orang pendek loves these fruits, he explained. They come here to eat. We decided to set up a camera trap near the trees, hoping to capture footage of the creature. As night fell, the sounds of the rainforest came alive with the calls of nocturnal animals and the rustling of leaves in the breeze. I lay in my tent, my mind racing with anticipation and a hint of fear. In the early hours of the morning, A sudden, high-pitched scream pierced the stillness of the night. I scrambled out of my tent, my flashlight illuminating the dark forest. Ramon was already awake, his eyes wide with alarm. "It's the Orang-Pendek," he whispered. "It's close." We moved cautiously towards the fruit trees, our flashlights cutting through the darkness. As we approached, I saw movement among the branches, a small, agile figure climbing swiftly into the canopy. I raised my camera, snapping photos as the creature paused to look at us, its eyes reflecting the light. The Orang-Pendek was unlike anything I had ever seen, standing no more than 4 feet tall, with reddish-brown fur and a face that was both human and ape-like. It observed us with a mix of curiosity and wariness, its small, nimble hands gripping the branches. I held my breath, awestruck by the sight of the legendary creature. It was real, a living testament to the mysteries of the natural world. The Orang-Pendek watched us for a moment longer before disappearing into the dense foliage, leaving us in stunned silence. As dawn broke, we reviewed the photos and footage we had captured. The images were clear and undeniable proof of the existence of the Orang-Pendek. I felt a sense of accomplishment and wonder, knowing that we had uncovered one of the greatest mysteries of the Sumatran rainforest. In the weeks that followed, our discovery made headlines around the world, sparking renewed interest in the field of cryptozoology. Scientists and researchers flocked to Sumatra, eager to learn more about the elusive creature that had captured the imagination of so many. For me, the search for the Orang-Pendek had been a journey of discovery and enlightenment. It was a reminder that the world is full of hidden wonders, waiting to be uncovered by those with the curiosity and determination to seek them out. As I continued my work, I carried with me the memory of that extraordinary encounter, a testament to the power of belief and the endless possibilities that lie within the unexplored corners of our planet. My name is David Walker, and I'm an ornithologist with a fascination for legendary birds. My research has taken me across continents in search of rare and elusive species. But nothing could compare to the legend of the thunderbird that drew me to the remote wilderness of Alaska. The thunderbird is a creature of Native American folklore, described as a massive bird with a wingspan that darkens the sky and the power to create storms with the beating of its wings. While many dismissed it as a myth, there had been recent reports from isolated communities in Alaska of sightings that piqued my interest. I arrived in the small town of Coldfoot, Alaska, at the onset of winter. The air was crisp, and the ground was blanketed in snow. The townspeople were friendly but reserved, their eyes betraying a hint of unease when I mentioned my quest to find the thunderbird. They spoke in hushed tones about the creature, as if fearing it might hear and come for them. I met with an elder named Nuka, who had witnessed the thunderbird during his youth. His stories were filled with awe and respect for the mighty bird. He described it as a creature of immense size, with feathers that shimmered like the northern lights and eyes that glowed with an otherworldly light. Nuka agreed to guide me to the area where he had last seen the thunderbird, a remote valley nestled between towering mountains. We set out on snowmobiles, traversing the rugged terrain with Nuka leading the way. The journey was grueling, but my excitement grew with each passing mile. We reached the valley just as the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the snow-covered landscape. Nuka pointed to a large outcropping of rock where he had seen the thunderbird perched many years ago. We set up camp near the edge of the valley, the stillness of the wilderness interrupted only by the occasional howl of a distant wolf. As night fell, the sky came alive with the shimmering dance of the aurora borealis, a breathtaking display that filled me with a sense of wonder and anticipation. In the early hours of the morning, a powerful gust of wind shook our tents. I emerged to find the sky darkening, as if a storm were brewing. Nuka stood at the edge of the camp, his eyes fixed on the horizon. "It's coming," he whispered, his voice filled with a mix of fear and reverence. I followed his gaze and saw it, a massive silhouette against the sky. its wings beating with a force that stirred the air and sent snow swirling around us. The Thunderbird was real, and it was magnificent. Its wingspan was enormous, casting a shadow over the valley, and its feathers shimmered with iridescent hues. The Thunderbird circled above us, its powerful wings creating gusts of wind that howled through the mountains. I stood in awe, my camera in hand, capturing the majestic creature as it soared through the sky. Its presence was both awe-inspiring and intimidating, a reminder of nature's raw power and beauty. For several minutes, the Thunderbird flew above us, its piercing cry echoing through the valley. Then, with a final, powerful beat of its wings, it ascended into the storm clouds, disappearing from sight. The sky slowly cleared, and the valley was once again bathed in the soft light of the aurora borealis. I reviewed the photos I had taken, each one a testament to the existence of the legendary Thunderbird. The images were breathtaking, capturing the creature's majesty and the otherworldly beauty of the Alaskan wilderness. As we packed up camp and prepared to leave the valley, Nuka placed a hand on my shoulder. "You have seen what many have only dreamed of," he said. "The Thunderbird is a guardian of these lands, a symbol of the power and mystery of nature. Respect it, and it will respect you." In the weeks that followed, my discovery made headlines around the world, sparking debates and discussions among scientists, researchers, and enthusiasts. While some remained skeptical, the evidence was undeniable. Thunderbird was real, a living legend that defied explanation. For me, the encounter with the Thunderbird was a defining moment in my career and my life. It was a reminder that the world is full of wonders, waiting to be discovered by those who dare to believe in the impossible. As an ornithologist, I had studied countless species of birds, but none had left as profound an impact as the mighty Thunderbird. And so, as I continued my research and exploration, I carried with me the memory of that incredible flight, a testament to the power of nature and the endless possibilities that lie within the unexplored corners of our planet. My name is Carlos Ramirez, and I am a journalist specializing in investigative reporting. My work has taken me to the darkest corners of human experience. But nothing could have prepared me for the story that awaited me in the small village of El Chelo, deep in the heart of rural Mexico. It was here that I encountered the legendary chupacabra, a creature of myth and fear that had been terrorizing the local livestock and captivating the imagination of people across Latin America. The chupacabra, or goatsucker, described as a creature that attacks animals, drinking their blood and leaving behind a trail of carcasses. Reports of the creature date back to the 1990s, but its origins are shrouded in mystery and folklore. The recent surge in sightings and attacks in El Chelo had brought me to this remote village, determined to uncover the truth behind the legend. I arrived in El Chelo at the peak of summer, the air thick with heat and the scent of blooming jacaranda trees. The village was small and isolated, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests. The locals were wary of outsiders, their eyes filled with suspicion and fear. They spoke in hushed tones about the chupacabra, as if invoking its name would summon the creature itself. My first contact was with Maria Alvarez, a local farmer who had lost several goats to the chupacabra in recent weeks. Her ranch was located on the outskirts of the village, surrounded by fields of maize and wildflowers. Maria was a strong, determined woman, but the recent attacks had left her shaken and desperate for answers. "Sir Ramirez, you must help us," she pleaded, as we stood by the remains of her latest victim, a young goat, drained of blood and left with strange puncture marks on its neck. "The chupacabra is real, and it's getting bolder. We fear for our animals and for ourselves." I assured Maria that I would do everything in my power to uncover the truth and bring an end to the terror. My investigation began with the villagers' accounts of the creature. Many described it as a reptilian or canine-like beast, with leathery skin, sharp fangs, and glowing red eyes. The attacks always occurred at night, and the creature left no trace of its presence other than the mutilated carcasses of its victims. I spent the next few days interviewing witnesses and gathering evidence. The stories were chillingly consistent, each one adding to the growing sense of dread that hung over the village. The attacks were becoming more frequent, and the villagers were on edge, fearful of what each night would bring. Determined to capture proof of the Chupacabra's existence, I set up a series of cameras and motion sensors around Maria's ranch. The nights were long and tense, each sound amplified by the darkness and the weight of expectation. On the fourth night, as the moon hung low in the sky, the sensors triggered an alert. I rushed to the site, my heart pounding with anticipation. The camera footage showed a shadowy figure moving swiftly through the fields, its eyes glowing like embers in the night. I followed the trail, my flashlight cutting through the darkness, until I reached the edge of the forest. There, in the dim light, I sighted a creature unlike anything I had ever seen. The Chupacabra stood on two legs, its body covered in rough, scaly skin. It had a hunched posture, long claws, and a face that was both animalistic and eerily human. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural light, and its mouth was filled with sharp, needle-like teeth. It stared at me for a moment, as if assessing the threat I posed, before disappearing into the forest with a speed and agility that defied belief. I returned to the village with the footage, my mind reeling from the encounter. The evidence was undeniable. Chupacabra was real, a living nightmare that defied scientific explanation. The villagers were both terrified and vindicated, their fears confirmed by the footage I had captured. In the weeks that followed, the village of El Cello became a focal point for researchers and cryptozoologists from around the world. Scientists analyzed the footage and the remains of the attacked animals, searching for answers to the mystery of the Chupacabra. Theories ranged from a previously undiscovered species of predator to a genetic mutation or a supernatural entity. Despite the increased attention, the attacks continued, and the Chupacabra remained elusive. My own research led me to delve deeper into the folklore and history of the region. I discovered that tales of blood-sucking creatures dated back centuries, intertwined with the cultural and spiritual beliefs of the indigenous peoples. The Chupacabra was not just a modern myth, but a manifestation of ancient fears and legends. One evening, as I sat with Maria and her family, discussing the ongoing attacks, an elderly man named Juan approached us. He was one of the village's oldest residents, his face lined with the wisdom and hardships of a long life. Juan claimed to have encountered the Chupacabra many years ago, and his story added a new dimension to the mystery. It was during the war, he began, his voice trembling with the weight of his memories. I was a young man, fighting in the mountains. One night, my unit was ambushed, and I was separated from my comrades. I stumbled upon a cave, seeking refuge, and that's where I saw a creature with eyes like fire and a thirst for blood. It spared me, but only because I showed no fear. Juan's account was both chilling and fascinating, hinting at a possible connection between the Chupacabra and the region's turbulent history. Could the creature be drawn to places of violence and fear, feeding on the energy of human suffering? It was a theory that seemed far-fetched, but in the world of the Chupacabra, nothing could be dismissed outright. As the months passed, my investigation continued, but the answers remained elusive. The Chupacabra was a master of evasion, a creature that existed on the fringes of reality and myth. The villagers of El Cello learned to coexist with the creature, taking precautions to protect their livestock and themselves, while respecting the ancient legend that had become a part of their lives. For me, the search for the Chupacabra was a journey into the unknown, a quest that challenged my understanding of the natural world and the boundaries of human knowledge. The encounter had left an indelible mark on my soul, a reminder that some mysteries are meant to be experienced, not explained. As I left El Cello and returned to my life as a journalist, I carried with me the memory of the Chupacabra, creature of myth and reality, a symbol of the enduring power of fear and wonder. The legend of the Chupacabra lived on, a story that would continue to captivate and terrify. A testament to the mysteries that lie hidden in the shadows of our world.